What is going on, guys? Welcome back to another episode of Coelum Farms. Today I am showing you how to plant in chicken. So whether you guys are planting into raised beds or you are planting into planters, in this case I have a couple hanging pots and some raised beds that we're going to be doing. I'm going to be showing you both ways. So inside each of these baskets is just straight chicken compost. So I went into my chicken run and I raked it into a pile and I put it in these pots and those raised beds over there. So now normally, if you were to take a tiny little seedling and you were to put it straight into this compost, there is a chance, may not happen, but there is a chance that you could burn or overload the plant with too much nutrients, too much nitrogen. So to prevent that, what we're going to do is make sure that when we take this transplant, we're going to get as much of this potting soil in here into this pot as well, so that the seedling has a chance to throw its roots down and continue to occupy the potting soil that has no nutrition whatsoever. There's no nutrients in this soil. It can then slowly put out its roots into the chicken compost and start taking in nutrients from that without the risk of burning the roots or the plant itself. So let's go ahead and get these two little guys into these pots. These are ground cherries, so if you don't know what they are absolutely delicious. They're like a cross between a tomato and a grape. They're the size and the consistency of a grape, but the flavor and the sweet tartness of a tomato. They are really delicious. But we're going to get these potted up and then we're going to move over to the raised beds over there, and we'll show you everything that we're getting planted in there. And there's a trick because we are direct sowing seeds into the raised beds, and again, if you put those seeds straight into the chicken compost, there's a chance that you will burn those seedlings because of how little they're going to be and how fragile they're going to be when they start sprouting. So I will show you the trick to remedy that as well. We just want to make sure we move as much of this to the side as possible, so we got a nice little hole for our transplant. And then if you've never pulled a transplant up, these roots aren't going to be very big or deep, but we want to kind of keep the shape. Flip it over. Ooh, this is holding nicely. There we go. And we're just going to kind of drop it down into the hole there and let it kind of fill in. Now, in addition to preventing nutrient burn on this plant, what it's going to do as well is help prevent transplant shock, because we are not disturbing the roots pretty much at all with these. And if you notice, I put a little bit of the compost on top just so that it can start getting some nutrients as it gets watered in, because it's going to take a week or two for the roots to spread out into the rest of this pot. But let's get this other one potted up really quick. Pull the compost back. And this one got a little leggy on us, so a couple of the leaves got eaten by slugs, but it's got its true leaves coming out, and there's another little baby coming in just in case. But man, slugs are our nemesis out here. Whoop. Yeah, see, there was no roots in the bottom there, even with this one. And then again, put a little bit on the top there, just to kind of give it an initial nutrient boost. And bam, just like that, we have some transplants potted up. This right here is the answer to our problem. Just plain old topsoil. Nothing fancy, no nutrients, nothing. Just plain old dirt. We won't even call this soil because there is no life in this whatsoever. And the true definition of dirt is lifeless soil. So this is just dirt. And that's what we're going to use to start all of our seedlings in. We're actually going to clear out a little trench, and then we're going to put, or not even necessarily a trench, just to clear out a space, whether it's a little hole or a trench, depending on whether we're going to be doing the Swiss chard, the sage, or we actually have some cucamelons as well that we're planting over here, and then we got some other stuff that we're planting over there. But we want to make sure that we have enough of this set in so that the seeds can start in that. Whoop. A little bug on us. Woo! Bugs are coming in hot already. They are everywhere, and this being chicken compost really isn't helping the bug factor, but over the next day or two this should finish off gassing and it'll be perfectly fine. But let's go ahead and clear out some trenches for the Swiss chard and some little spaces for the sage and the cucamelons right here so that we can get them planted. So I think we'll just start back here. And we're just going to use our hand to kind of make a trench. Here. Knocking the seed packets over. And then, I think we can do one right here by this comfrey. Alright. There's seeds over there. Look at this. Taking topsoil, dirt, just filling the trench like that. Don't even need too much, just enough so that the seeds have something to plant into. Alright, we're just going to sprinkle. This is the Swiss chard, so we have a flamingo pink, and we have a yellow. Let's see. What kind is this one? Just a yellow orange, and then there's a white, just a plain white one. Oh, white rib, sorry. If we sew it a little thick, that's fine. We'll thin them, all the little ones out if we need to, and eat them as baby greens. Then we're going to cover up all the seeds, push them down just a little bit, just like so. Same thing with this row and the other row. Get everything covered up, and we want to make sure we don't get too much of the compost mixed into the trench here, just because these seeds have plenty of nutrients within the seed itself to get started and establish and get that initial tap root going down, and then that tap root is actually going to set into the compost and will then start taking up nutrients. Alright, we have Swiss chard planted, and let's get the sage. And then right here underneath these little makeshift greenhouses, these are just a water bottle that was cut in half. That's what we're going to throw the sour gherkin cucumbers or cucamelons, however you know them by, because yeah, those are a little bit slow to get going at first, but once they get going, they're hard to stop. But they are young and tender, and every single one that I have started in a tray thus far has been gobbled up by caterpillars, slugs, snails, you name it. Alright. These we're just gonna make a hole there. I'm gonna I think I'd do 5 like little holes here. Yeah, go like that, I think. And then we'll go ahead and make the ones for the sour gherkins here as well. There we go. We actually still got some grass in that. Oof, yeah. It's gonna break down nice. Okay, go like that. That's perfect. Right, and this is some white sage. Now, those of you that have followed me for a little while, you know that I have a red sage that I grow here as well. Whew. Sorry, there is mosquitoes everywhere right now, and they are feisty tonight. Anyways, I've wanted some white sage for a long time now, but just haven't been able to find seeds. Sorry, I'm blowing mosquitoes away from my face right now as I'm talking. Oh, whew. But so I was finally able to find some seeds. And we are going to plant them here in this nice little guild. And this guild is just kind of... A guild is a collection of plants grown symbiotically together. Don't have to necessarily all be edible, but they occupy different layers within the natural growth kingdom. I don't know what to call it. Nature's layers. There we go. Nature's layers. That's perfect. And get an ant out of there. Don't want ants stealing our seeds either. We're just kind of cruising through. Get all of these planted. And you know what? We're going to oversow a lot of these. I really just want all of these to be full of sage, because I use it for everything, from smudging to incense to cooking with. These cucamelons, however, are delicious, and they are about the size of a grape. They look like a mini watermelon, and they taste like a cucumber mixed with a little bit of lime and no bitterness, which is the key for me, is no bitterness. So you know what? And these ones, they don't like to germinate, or they have a lower germination rate. So we're going to do 3 to 4 seeds per little hole here. And then we're going to cover these guys up like so, and let them kind of do their thing. And they're kind of smaller seeds, so we're going to make sure that we don't have a lot of topsoil on top of them. And then for these, we're actually, oh, sorry, mosquito, had to get him. Throw these over top of them to keep, again, the bugs out of them. I just had to pause to show you guys Chloe's bed. She chose the top of the pot and somehow curled all the way into it. Oh, you're cute. Alright, back to this side. And let me go ahead and show you guys what we are planting over here. So, as you saw in our previous video, if you didn't, go ahead and check out the link right there. And you can go watch that and then jump back over here. But we planted up lavender, we threw some onions in here, and mainly we have all of these raspberry pups. And some of them kind of look sad because admittedly I forgot to water them a couple days, but they'll still survive, and we should still have 90% success rate on getting these guys to actually take root, which is going to be amazing because they're going to grow up in this area, and then up here It's a giant huckleberry bush, so that'll be really nice. But in this section here, so we have more comfrey here in the corner. So we got our sour gherkin cucamelons there. We have some onions there. And then we have our comfrey. And then right here in this section, we're going to do our Italian wide leaf parsley. And then in the bed in front of that, we have more makeshift greenhouses because small fragile seeds. But we have chamomile that we're going to do here in the corner. In the center, we're going to do dill. We're followed by cilantro here. Cilantro we're not going to cover because most bugs will leave it alone, at least for the most part. And then here on the end, we have another ground cherry that we're going to be putting as well. And then in the corners of all the beds, there will be more cucumbers and watermelons to grow and occupy the walkways. But let's go ahead and again, we're going to create a couple rows for the parsley, and then we're going to create a couple like little circles like we did for the sage, for the chamomile, dill, and cilantro. As for the ground cherry, because it is a transplant, we're just going to make sure we get as much of that potting soil as possible into that spot for it. We got some nice pieces of bark and stuff in here too, which is really nice for like moisture retention. So they'll soak up all the water when it rains, and then they'll slowly release it back into the soil around it as the soil dries out. That's a nice piece, but we're gonna maybe put that one up here just because we need this space right here. I don't screen, that's the word. I don't screen my compost or anything out of the chicken bin because that way I get all of these nice little wood chips and these wood shavings and such, because you know I don't have to worry about it nitrogen locking the plants or anything because there's enough nitrogen in the soil to not have to stress or worry about it at all. Alright, and then we're going to go ahead do these little sections as well before we take our gloves off and start seeding. Another reason why we use topsoil instead of like store-bought compost or potting mix or anything like that is it's cheaper. It's only a couple bucks for giant bag of topsoil versus like $15 to $20 sometimes for one of the bags of potting mix or something with nutrients in it. And I think we're actually just going to start with this little ground cherry. Greenhouse over him. And this is a slow bolting cilantro, which is also coriander. So the seeds to cilantro are what is known as coriander. That's what that is. So it's one of those double or double plants. So you get two different harvests from the same plant. Again, I'm over sowing just a little bit because some of this stuff likes to hold hands, and we got enough nutrients in all of these beds to more than support all of these seeds that we're putting in. Way more than support. Woo, that one got me good. Oh, that mosquito got me good. Alright. Here's a dill. Sprinkling in and get our chamomile. I love chamomile for my teas. It's a good natural relaxation. helps the body produce its own melatonin. Ooh, these seeds are so small. We're going to sow a lot of these because it's such a small seed. Well, I guess we're doing the whole pack. Alright. Chamomile. We just did the whole bag right there. Alright. So then, sow all this like that. I'll get that over most of it. Same thing over here. Seeds covered, and then we'll throw it again. Put this over a good chunk of it in the middle there. Get our parsley planted. And I love parsley. I cook with it all the time. I use it in almost every dish. It's really good just to nibble on. I'm one of those guys. My favorite pastime is just kind of grabbing a parsley leaf and chewing on it while I'm walking through the garden. Oh man. We're supposed to get a torrential downpour over the next few days, so we're kind of just getting it all in, and we're going to let Mother Nature do the watering for us. Now, these mosquitoes are bad, but we got the bed and everything planted, so that is how you plant in chicken. Thank you so much for coming along this journey today, guys. If you learned something, make sure you show us by giving us a big thumbs up. If you like this content and want to see more of it, make sure you subscribe, ring that notification bell so that you get notified as we do our weekly uploads. We're getting back on schedule, and I appreciate you guys so much for sticking with me, and hopefully you guys are here for the long haul. See you guys in the next one.